Thank you to the City of Tulsa Pipe and Drum. It's always a pleasure to hear them. Welcome to Matriculation 2018. I invite you to pray with me. Gracious God, we give you thanks for this day of academic transition, for this day of matriculation. We thank you for guiding these students to this place, to their new alma mater, the University of Tulsa. Be here with us all, particularly the newest members of our university community, that this moment might truly be a time of joy and celebration as they begin their transforming academic engagement. Lead their steps, bring them wisdom, uphold them in joy. We pray to you, O Lord, our strength, our comfort, and guide. Amen. Please be seated, and which you are. If you all would like to stand up, we'll go do that again. Yeah, don't give me a script. I go with it. Not always, but normally. But it is now my pleasure, after you have been seated, to introduce to you the Vice President for Enrollment and Student Services, Earl Johnson.
Wow. Look at this class. Welcome to the University of Tulsa, class of 2022. Give yourselves a round of applause. Students, we are extraordinarily pleased to see you here today. We've been waiting for you all summer, and we are ready to introduce you to the university family. I'd like, first of all, to acknowledge our orientation leaders. Can you stand, please? These students will serve as your example this week and, quite frankly, for the duration of your time here at the University of Tulsa. They are an exemplary role models and will be able to show you the way to maximize your experiences here at the University of Tulsa. So on behalf of your professors, administrators, professional staff, and others, I congratulate you on reaching this day. We are excited for you and wish you every success here at the University of Tulsa. Part of the purpose of this gathering today is to reflect on that success and what is required from each of us, not only in terms of our own welfare, but also in terms of our responsibilities to each other. We are a learning community, and every action we take or fail to take will shape the experiences of our peers and colleagues. It is important that we begin with a shared understanding of why we are here and how we are going to create this wonderful experience together. I hope you know that there are many people ready and eager to support you throughout this next chapter. Parents, you heard from some of those individuals at the previous session. These include, among others, your fellow students, your professors, and professional staff in departments including Student Affairs, the Counseling Center, the Center for Student Academic Support, Campus Recreation, Housing and Dining. We had a flawless check-in today and everybody's in the rooms, and I'm not sure if all of you were able to get all of your things in the room, but that's going to be an exercise in itself as we move forward in the next couple of weeks. Our IT department, the Alexander Health Center, and of course, our dynamic orientation team. If Kyle Metter and Steve Denton are in the room, would you please stand? I know you're here. Where are you? They're in the corner. Steve and Kyle and our orientation leaders are making sure that your path to success is set this week. Also, we have among us today working for your success are our TU academic deans. I would like to take a moment to introduce them to you. This esteemed group represents 150 years of collective experience working with students. Colleagues, as I announce your names, would you please stand and greet our audience? Jim Sorum, Dean of the College of Engineering and Natural Sciences. Kalpana Misra, the Dean of the Henry Kendall College of Arts and Sciences. Larry Walford, Dean of the Collins College of Business. Robin Ploger, Dean of the Oxley College of Health Sciences. Lynn Inseroth, Dean of the College of Law. I'm not sure if Lynn is here today. And Janet Haggerty is the Dean of the Graduate School and Vice Provost for Research. Thank you all for your diligence in helping our students succeed. Before I introduce our next guest, our special speaker, one of two, I'd also like to give a round of thanks to the Office of Admission and the Office of International Student Services for working with all of you to ensure your transition to our family here at the University of Tulsa. Thank you very much, Office of Admission. Now, it is my special honor to introduce our First Lady of the University of Tulsa, Mrs. Paula Clancy. She will bring words for our president, who's not able to be with us today, but I think you will hear his heartbeat for you as students in this campus community. Paula?
Thank you, Earl. My husband, President Clancy, and I also want to extend an enthusiastic welcome to all of you. Unfortunately, he had to be out of town a couple of days, but he wanted me to pass along his greetings to our freshman class and his thanks for choosing to join our community here at TU. This idea of community is essential, and I want to take a moment to share some perspectives from the president. I think Earl Johnson expressed it very well just a moment ago when he said, every action we take or fail to take will shape the experiences of those around us. This is especially true in a community as personally and intellectually diverse as ours. Everything you do will have an impact. That impact could be small or profound. It could be positive or negative. We usually focus on the positive here at TU because there's practically no limit to the discoveries we can make, the interests and talents we cultivate, and the difference we can make to others. But here today, the president has asked me to repeat a message of caution that he shared with last year's freshman class. You need to recognize with your new independence, you will have opportunities to get yourselves into trouble and opportunities to stand by and watch your friends and classmates get themselves into trouble as well. Let's be frank. We are talking about things like binge drinking and alcohol abuse, sexual assault, racism and bigotry, abuses of social media, hazing and bullying. Because these things are problems in American society, they are also problems on all American college campuses. Unfortunately, TU is no exception, and there are times each year when we need to apply our disciplinary code. Destructive behaviors like these threaten our well-being, our educational mission, and our reputation. Every one of us has a duty to stand against these abuses and work for a campus culture of safety, respect, and inclusion. Of course, you did not come here to fail, but to succeed. So let's help each other reach that goal. Step in before trouble happens, before a classmate stops going to class, before someone gets drunk, before a friend drives buzzed, before a classmate is sexually assaulted, before cyberbullying crushes someone's spirit, and before an ignorant post turns into a racist thread. Be ready to step in all day, every day, both for your friends and for classmates you do not know. We are a learning community. We are all here to succeed, and we all share responsibility for everyone's welfare. We talk about these things now to plant a mental seed so that when you're suddenly faced with a moment of choice, you will recognize it for what it is and remember the power you have to protect yourselves and your peers. I will close my remarks with a statement President Clancy often uses at the end of his email messages. You will hear this again, but you heard it from me here first. He likes to say, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and when you see something about to go wrong, step in and make a difference. Thank you for listening. Now it is my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Tracy Suter, TU's Vice President for Strategic Initiatives.
Thank you, Mrs. Clancy, and thank you for letting the University of Tulsa be part of your story. Also, let me say thank you to those who have provided me the opportunity to speak at this matriculation exercise today. I am merely one of thousands of faculty and staff who are prospective collaborators, trusted mentors, and friends not yet met. As a spokesperson for all of us, I bring a simple message. This community, our community, is built on curiosity. Intellectual curiosity and an inclusive community are two essential elements of the TU commitment. To illustrate, please allow me to share a story with you. In doing so, I'll attempt to mimic the legendary rest of the story style of famous TU alumnus and Hall of Famer Paul Harvey. See if you can guess who I'm referring to before I get to the end. Izzy was just like any other boy in his urban neighborhood. His parents were grocery store owners. Along with his sister Gertrude, the four of them occupied a 2-room apartment in the city. As was the norm, Izzy and Gertrude attended public school with other kids from the neighborhood. Upon further reflection, Izzy was not just like any other boy. He was obsessed with science. He checked out stacks upon stacks of science books from the public library. He scavenged together component parts to make his own radio. This was following his first scientific publication while still in elementary school. After graduating from a public high school, young Izzy decided to pursue higher education at a private university. He joined the school's ROTC equivalent and declared electrical engineering as his major, before changing to chemistry shortly thereafter. Following completion of his coursework, including his senior thesis about the hypothetical charge that an atom would have if all bonds to atoms of different elements were 100% ionic, he found stimulating work hard to come by. Izzy returned to his alma mater as a graduate student and began studying physics. He also began studying Helen, a summer school student from a college closer to his boyhood home. He transferred to be closer to Helen. The two were married 3 years later. Their wedding day was the day following the publication of his doctoral thesis. Ironically, the topic of the thesis was magnetism. Izzy, that romantic rascal, applied his professional insights to his personal life. He and Helen were together a total of 65 years. You may not recognize the name Dr. Isidore Izzy Robbie, but if you or a loved one has had an MRI, you can appreciate his discovery of nuclear magnetic resonance. For this, he won the 1944 Nobel Prize in Physics. Additionally, he was one of the first scientists in the United States to work on the cavity magnetron, which is used in microwave ovens. So now you know the rest of the story. Or so it seems. There's one more tidbit you should know. Dr. Robbie was once asked, "Why did you become a scientist?" His answer was profound. "My mother made me a scientist without ever intending it." While other mothers were asking questions like, "What did you learn today?" Mrs. Robbie asked her son, "Izzy, did you ask a good question today?" That difference, said Robbie, asking good questions made all the difference. Ladies and gentlemen, we are all born curious. Our questions of curiosity provide the mechanism that allow us to grow and understand the world around us. Sadly, research indicates that the average 6 to 18-year-old student today asks one question per 1-hour class per month. That's the opposite of curiosity. Speaking as someone who has devoted his adult life to asking good questions and having an unyielding desire to discover their answers, let me say, without reservation, that being a passive learner in this environment will not lead to long-term success. Intellectual curiosity is essential. Maybe all of us could benefit from following Mrs. Robbie's lead, asking ourselves and each other, did you ask a good question today? Nobel Prizes are promised to no one. However, I feel extremely confident in saying that reprioritizing curiosity will net future dividends. A key phrase of the TU commitment reads, cultivating an insatiable intellectual curiosity and inquisitiveness. Asking good questions is at the heart of this phrase. TU provides both tools and techniques to not only ask the best questions, but to discover the clearest answers. This is how we can be your best partner in higher education. To this blue-shirted brigade, since I am old enough to be your father, here's a word of advice and caution. Once you ask, be a willing listener. TU is a place to hear and be heard. At universities all over the country, young people are walking out on speakers with whom they have ideological disagreement or staying and being so disruptive that others cannot listen in order to draw their own conclusions. Not here. We can disagree without being disagreeable. We can bring a genuine sense of empathy, civility, and mutual respect among people. We can be cordial as each of us has the potential to bring value to others. This brings me to another important passage of the TU commitment, inclusive community, which is our focus on developing deeper, more meaningful, more collaborative connection. Dr. Robbie's initial community was his neighborhood. Community in his era was determined by where you grew up. Modern community can be formed a wider variety of ways, including communities around common interests. Even activities that appear on the surface to be solo have community overtones. Author J.K. Rowling worked at a not-for-profit organization prior to penning the first Harry Potter book. The heartbreak she witnessed during that job moved her to question how she could share with the rest of the world that love conquers all. Armed with her enormous, vivid imagination, Jo initially worked alone. However, she wasn't alone for long. Eventually, her team, including literary agent Christopher Little, her UK publisher Bloomsbury, and her US publisher Scholastic, played critical roles in her story becoming an international phenomenon. Don't believe for a second that all of that was easy. She was rejected by the first dozen publishers she approached. As a team, they prevailed to the benefit of us all. Even Rowling's protagonist, Harry, did not go unaided as many times as he nobly tried. Hermione and Ron never let him fly solo. And is a powerful, connecting, community-building word. As you add to your story, I say pose lots of questions, good questions, inside and outside the classroom. Use them as opportunities to discover mentors, collaborators, and lifelong friends. Use them to establish an inclusive community. This will push you to tap your boundless potential. The questions you ask could be instrumental to your TU experience and beyond. Here are a few examples to consider. Dr. Schilling, can I help you with your research? Should we volunteer together at True Blue Neighbors? When are you planning to study abroad? Should we go hear the guest speaker on campus? Is the band playing at 10 or 11? That's at night for all the non-teenagers in the room. Have you ever been to a TU soccer match? Do you want to hang out? Can I wash your car for you, Dr. Suter? While I do like a clean car, that question will get you nowhere. It was in this venue at this event 2 years ago that I saw TU student quality on display for the first time. I was so impressed by the student speakers that I texted my stunningly beautiful bride to share my overwhelmingly positive first impression. I trust those sitting behind me, as well as those sitting before me, will only add to this legacy. I would like to close by saying, if I had a private moment with my son or daughter before we were to leave this matriculation ceremony, I might say this: we are so proud of the person you have become. We feel confident that you have made a terrific choice by coming to TU, and we trust you agree. We've encountered some amazing people, marvelous, caring people who want to see you succeed and grow. It might be challenging at times, but remember that the expectation at our house is very clear. If you start, you finish. We do not quit. Quitting is not who we are, it's not what we do, and it's not how we roll. We know you can do this and do it well. We also know that people are here to help if you have the courage to ask. We love you. We will miss you. So check in with us every now and again among all the fun you'll be having. Also give strong consideration to that matriculation speaker's advice. He seemed like a reasonable fellow. Ask lots of good questions, connect with people who have similar curiosities, and be willing to listen to those with different perspectives, especially since that speaker is not simply old enough to be your father. For one of you, he is your father. Parents, somehow, some way, I'm holding it together as I stand before you. That hasn't been true throughout the rest of today. I'm one of you. One of those angelic faces sitting before me lived at our house before moving on campus this morning. Faculty and staff, I'm also one of you. I hope I've represented us well over the last several minutes. As meaningful as this moment is, I'm looking forward to the one we'll have at commencement in May 2022, when you are reflecting on all the ways your story has grown and developed here at TU. May all the days in between matriculation and commencement and well beyond be filled with curiosity and community as you continually seek opportunities to discover a future not yet revealed. Trust me when I say, the questions you ask and the people you meet will shape the rest of your story. Finally, it is often said that a good story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. At TU, we believe that a good story includes acceptance, engagement, empowerment, and self-discovery as well. If we are living this commitment, you'll feel those four things. In a moment, four outstanding young people will share how their experiences have shaped their TU story, and by doing so, highlight these other important elements of the commitment. For now, thank you so much for listening, and join me in loudly and passionately welcoming Misael Morales to the podium with thunderous applause before he discusses acceptance here at TU.
Thank you, Dr. Suter. I am an international student from Venezuela, and I am a rising senior this semester studying applied mathematics and petroleum engineering with 3 minors. And this is my TU story. But let me warn you, it is not an exceptional story. It is not a legendary story where I cure cancer and I am the president of everything and I'm the straight A student, because that's not me. That's not my story. But instead, I want to share with you how TU has shaped me and how I have helped shape TU. To start with, let's visualize yourselves in the 1st grade, in the playground during recess. Your social skills weren't probably the best, right? And therefore, making friends was not easy. You probably like to play soccer, or football, as I call it, and you probably couldn't keep up with the older kids. You were like me, you were probably shy, unathletic, lacking some confidence, and recess was a little overwhelming. My name is Misael, and that moment is happening for all of us right now. Let that sink in as you're about to start something new, something big. As an international student, coming from a different culture, a different language, different customs and traditions, I often found myself alone in the sandbox during recess time without anyone to play football with. It often made me think how far away I was from home, how different the people were here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and how much I wanted to go back to the comfort and safety that I was used to. However, you have to realize that it takes time to adapt. It takes time to find your niche, your group of friends, your routine and your habits. It takes another lost, sweaty kid in the playground to come to you and say, "Hey, do you want to be my friend?" in order to feel the comfort and security that you are looking for. And that exactly is what I have experienced in my 3 years so far here at TU. It all starts with the smallest of details. On my first day of orientation, just like you all here, I met 3 more freshmen from Latin America. And ever since, I have been able to make friendships and connections with many more throughout the years. I found my place at TU in several organizations, being a member of lots of them, working with others, in my academics and in my daily life. I have been able to create friendships from people all over the world, from Europe, Asia, Africa, and even with people from the United States, surprisingly for me. With their company, I have learned to break cultural barriers, to avoid stereotypes, and to have an open mind for all sorts of different global perspectives and backgrounds. All of these things I would never have thought of while I was in high school. Today, I can stand here and tell you that TU has been a home for me, where I have been able to thrive, to know people from other places that I would have never imagined before. And as time progressed, I have gotten to know more and more, to get more and more involved, and to enjoy all the small things that TU has to offer and that make it so wonderful. Here, I was given the opportunity to find myself, to do the things that I liked. I feel that I have been accepted for what I am, for what I do, and for what I like. TU has become my new home, and you can't play football just by yourself, you know? You need to find 10 other people to play with, and I have definitely found them here at TU. Thank you, and now let's welcome Terry Burris, who is going to tell us how TU has helped her get engaged in her learning.
Thank you, Misael. My second day of college, I walked into a classroom full of upperclassmen in women and gender studies. If that wasn't intimidating enough, I sat down next to the man, the myth, the legend, the quarterback of TU's football team. Surely I was in the wrong place because I had no idea what was going on. Was I cut out for this? Should I drop the class? Maybe I could stay and just do my best. I decided my first step had to be talking to the professor, Dr. Wilson, after class. She immediately noticed my shirt and started asking me about it. My shirt was from a summer camp I had worked at for kids with disabilities, and it turns out she has a daughter with autism. So immediately we connected over the fact that we care about making our world more accessible to everyone. She was great to adapt the coursework for my individual interests, so I had special assignments and I got to help present on class discussions on disability. And after one of those classes, she approached me and said, "Would you ever want to study disability studies?" I had no idea what that was, so I had to do a quick Google. It turns out it was a really great fit for me. There was one problem. TU doesn't have a disability studies program. And I wanted to study disability studies, but I had friends and organizations, and I wasn't willing to sacrifice my community for it. So thanks to Dr. Wilson and the College of Arts and Sciences being very adaptive, we switched up the Women Gender Studies program just a little bit so that I was able to focus on disability. I started out as just a nervous freshman that was trying to survive a really difficult class, and I ended up finding a mentor, a friend, and an interest that now shape my career path. See, when you take that first step, speak up for yourself, and ask for a little bit of help, it turns out that the thing I was afraid of the most when I came to college, which was being alone and navigating college alone, I wasn't alone at all. I have the pleasure of introducing our next speaker, Maddie Willis, as she discusses empowerment.
Thanks so much, Tori. So, when I was an incoming freshman, just like you all, I was sitting right where you were sitting, and I was so excited to get involved right away. Several of my orientation leader and several of the other orientation leaders encouraged me to join Student Association, so I chose to be a part of a team called Springfest. And this team is one that plans a full week of events for all the students on campus. And at the time I was a helper, and our team leader really empowered me to take on responsibility that I didn't even know I was capable of, especially as a freshman. And she had me plan a full day during the week. And though admittedly, things did not go exactly as planned. They didn't go perfectly. I still learned so much. And our team leader saw something in me that I didn't even see in myself. And so she encouraged me to apply for the leader of that team the next year. And I thought, okay, there is no way that I could get this position as a sophomore, when traditionally it's been held by juniors and seniors. So I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna go for it because she sees something in me that maybe I don't see. So I went ahead and applied upon her recommendation, and I actually received the position. It was a lot of responsibility on an 18-year-old's shoulders, but let me tell you, her confidence in me encouraged me every step of the way. I wanted more, I strove for more, and the university gave me the opportunity to just take it. So when I met with my new team, I realized I had the opportunity to give them the room and the space to create their own day, just like my leader had encouraged me to create my own. It was important for me to embody the support and the trust that my leader had put into me. I've taken away from this experience an aptitude for hard work, and that being flexible and keeping an open mind can take you really, really far. My dad always says, luck is when preparedness meets opportunity. And I think that's absolutely true. In the end, college is all about making the most of the opportunities you see before you. It's about jumping in a little over your head, learning so much, and pouring out that newfound knowledge onto others. I am so excited for you all to join the ranks here at TU and make your big difference on campus. Whether it's trying something new, supporting friends at athletic games, joining clubs and organization, know that your campus and campus professionals and faculty and even student leaders are here to support you through this journey, just like so many were here to support me during my Springfest journey. And remember that your time here is only 4 years. And speaking from experience, it's not a lot. So make the most of it and make your mark at TU. And thank you so much. And now I have the wonderful pleasure of introducing a TU alumna and a grad student, and actually my orientation leader, Queen Kyla Sloan.
Thanks, Maddie. When people go overseas, you hear them say, "It changed the way I view the world." That's so real. When I went to Spain my junior year, it did change my perspective of the world. But more importantly than that, it changed my perspective about me. Before I went, I had no idea how indecisive I was, how I didn't know the difference between Madrid or Mallorca, or how stressed I would get figuring out money and travel, or that I would be anxious. But TU addressed all of that, from the study abroad staff, the Alexander Health Center, my friends, and faculty. When I got back to campus, I discovered I couldn't do things the same way anymore. I couldn't just be involved in great organizations. I needed some way to take what I experienced and put it into practice, to impact the campus culture and the way that people thought of others. I found there was a new position in Student Association, our student government, for the Executive Director of Diversity and Multiculturalism. I jumped on board, and I am so glad I did. Through SA, I discovered resources and opportunities to share what I was passionate about and to help other students to have the same eye-opening experience I did right here on campus in a supportive environment. Your time at TU will likely have its challenges, but every setback, bad grade, celebration, all-nighter, every job will help you grow through what you go through. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward." Self-discovery at TU is not going to happen on accident. It happens on purpose. You've got to be proactive. I experienced self-discovery by taking advantage of all the people and resources TU has put together. Through asking questions, meeting people, getting engaged, and taking some safe risks, I learned more about my passions and leadership than I ever expected. And you will too. Thank you so much. And now I turn the podium back to Vice President Johnson.
Students, I hope you see the purpose embodied of these students. They exude the TU commitment in so many different ways, and you too can be a part of that experience and live your purpose here at the University of Tulsa. So I want to thank our students for sharing their thoughts with us today. Thank you very much. In just a moment, our Student Association President, Connor Bender, will come and lead you in taking the TU Student Pledge. But first, on behalf of your professors and everyone else here at TU, I will extend our charge to you as faculty and administrators. As students of the University of Tulsa, you are continuing a legacy that goes back more than a century. You also are laying the foundation of your own future, and you are helping to shape the futures of your fellow students. You've heard this time and time again today. TU is a place that beckons you to take advantage of every opportunity before you. We ask that you embrace challenges and explore new interests. Venture outside of your comfort zone, knowing that you are among people who want you to succeed. Help others, both on campus and out in the community. In your classes and projects, don't simply ask what is required, but imagine what is possible. Act with personal integrity and with respect for others. Earn all of your accomplishments with honest effort. This is important, and I hope you listen. Pay attention to your health: physical, mental, social, and spiritual. Invest the time and effort to keep yourself well. Friends, people beside you, watch out for one another and ensure that this is a part of your experience. Be committed to yourself and to the success of our campus community. I promise you, if you do these things, you will add a remarkable TU chapter to your life story. And honestly, we cannot wait to see what you will do next. I want to thank you today, and I also want you to join me a rousing round of applause for our President of the Student Association, President Connor Bender.
They spelled my name wrong on this, by the way. But. Thank you, Vice President Johnson. Once again, welcome and thank you for joining us. I first want to say that all of us on stage and in the front row, we have something in common. And Dr. Suter, that is not the color blue, all right? It is that we have the privilege of sharing the TU community. This community is special to each and every one of us. And today, right here, we are making the TU commitment to you, offering you a chance to be a part of this special community. And in return, the bond is reciprocal. You make the same commitment to us. This commitment is a promise to promote an academic environment fueled by free and open inquiry, supported by ethics and integrity, both in and outside of the classroom. It's a commitment and promise to trust and respect each other, embracing our differences and using them as a catalyst to grow in our own understanding and perspective. It's a commitment and promise to improve and protect this community that I pray you will come to cherish just as much as all of us. Now, that sounds like a lot of stuff and a big responsibility, and it is. That is the TU commitment. But it's also a big opportunity. You'll be given the chance to actively learn and the opportunity to judiciously adapt your knowledge for a variety of classwork and extracurriculars. You'll be given the opportunity to grow in your faith in yourselves in the university and in those around you. It's acknowledging that we can go further together than any of us could on our own. It's a promise, commitment, and opportunity to apply your skills and abilities to your surrounding community, leaving it better than you found it. At this time, I'll ask you to take out the pen you received when you first walked in. A special thanks goes to Chaplain Jeff Francis and Sharp Chapel for graciously donating us these pens. And on it, you will see the Kindle Bell, serving as a constant reminder of the opportunities and promises you're taking. As I read the student pledge, and it will be displayed up on the Jumbotron, if you want to be a part of this commitment, of this community, please answer "I will" after each of the questions I read. Will you accept your place in this university, abiding by its commitments to academic integrity and intellectual honesty? Good job. Will you contribute to the health and welfare of the University of Tulsa by pledging your support for its faculty and staff, its many students and alumni, and do your part to promote its mission on campus and in the community? Will you take your place in the great conversation begun by others and contribute your voice to its dialogue and debate, its search for truth and knowledge, its goals of understanding and wisdom as stated in our mission? Will you, as a student of the University of Tulsa, pledge to strive for excellence in the pursuit of wisdom, to acknowledge the university's foundation on a faith in God, while respecting the faith traditions of all other individuals, and be of service to others in accordance with the ideals set forth in the student commitment? Nice. Thank you and congratulations. Please affix a pin somewhere on your clothing and join us as official members of the TU community. And at this time, we're going to have Kyla Sloan demonstrate to us what we do during the alma mater for games.
All right, so we're about to sing our alma mater, and when we sing our alma mater, everyone stands up. Stretch a little. And you either, whichever you're comfortable with, link arms or shoulders with the people next to you. And then you'll sway side to side with the rhythm,
Hail to the alma mater, gold and blue. Praise from thy sons and daughters, old and new. Pride in our hearts, our voices, let us raise. Filled with devotion, we will sing thy praise. Alma mater, now we honor, loyal, always true. Always true. We will lift our voice in chorus. Hail to Tulsa, you.
Everybody's path is different in college, and it's probably going to have some twists and turns in it. I'm Kate Leahy, and this is my story. At TU, I'm involved in whatever I want to be. I had a friend that told me to follow what you're involved in, and that will lead you to a job that you like. So I've done Reading Partners, Youth Mentoring Program, the Tulsa Walk for Apraxia, Future Alumni Council, Orientation Leaders, University Ambassadors. So I definitely feel like I've gotten involved in lots of organizations, getting to meet other people. I really try and make sure that everyone knows that they can find their niche on campus because there are so many organizations and activities to be involved in. I love that TU is part of Tulsa and that we're not stuck on campus. Cool bars around downtown, cool music places, it's really good places to eat everywhere. I've really gotten to know this city and love this city. Part of the reason I chose TU was for the speech language pathology department, and I'm not a speech path major anymore. After I studied abroad twice, I decided, wow, I think I could do something else. I love talking to other college students. I love the admission process. And so I changed my major to media studies, and I was lucky enough this summer to help lead Jumpstart TU. It's a new orientation program for freshmen, which took place in Panama to get to see them study abroad even before they come to TU and start as a real student. I've learned that it's okay to change paths because my life is an amazing book. and I'm still writing it, chapter by chapter. I'm really glad that I got involved in so many things on campus, and I definitely think that that helped me find my true passion. There are a lot of different roads that I could go down, and there are professors and different faculty and students that are backing me up on these different paths. I really feel like this TU community is something that I won't ever forget, and so I'd love to continue staying here. And that's my story so far.
That was a great story. And we're still in the chapter of orientation, and I love that, writing your chapter. One thing I need to do first before we do our interactive benediction will be to invite you, and I'll be the flight attendant at this moment. We invite you to the President's Dinner, which will be held in the concourse, which surrounds the arena. You may find tables, serving tables. They may be behind you, but if you want to perhaps find the serving buffets that are less crowded, they may be across from you. So around you, behind you, across from you. So we welcome you to dinner. And now, I want you to be really famished for the food. The food is going to be great. Dining services here in catering does a phenomenal job with their food. So stand up. Forty years ago, I graduated from the University of Tulsa with a bachelor's in music education and a minor in fun. Which is this here. For 3 years of my time here at the university, I was a co-ed collegiate cheerleader. And we had a donor in '77 who made all the guys, not the women, all the guys hats. We were obliged, since it was an alumna, to wear the hats while cheering. We did, and that lasted one game. I bring it today because I don't have a terrible towel, but I do have a terrible hat. This is a part of what we're going to do in a moment. Now, all the orientation leaders, you're somewhere in front, aren't you? Or can you be real quickly, sort of? Or, okay, well, that's fine. One of the things I learned as a cheerleader here was that as my fellow students, you all were pretty good at cheering. But as you became alumni, somehow your hands became fractured. You lost your ability to speak, and your legs became weak because you wouldn't get up. I don't want that to happen to you. So, there are two words in the biblical Greek. One is kineo. Kineo means energy, right? Energy. The other is krazo, which means, yeah! It's a word for craze. So, kineo and krazo. All right. You all. You will do that. We're going to do a cheer. It's an important cheer. This section over here is T. You might give yourself a little room. It's okay. Give yourself a little room. So this section over here is T. So when when I point at you or do this, whichever, I sometimes can't do both. When I do this, you go. Remember, crazy. Good. Hold that thought. You here, when I do this, you do. All right. These last two sections, when I do, you'll hurt yourselves. When I look at you, you do LSA. Come on. Praise. All right, we're going to do this 3 times. It's going to be. All right, okay. We're going to do this 3 times. On the last time, we're all going to say it. And then I've got my terrible hat, and we're going to say, Go Tulsa! Are you ready? 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 Everyone! Go! Okay, if this old guy can now recover from that, I wish for you the Lord's richest blessing. I wish for you the Lord to guide you, to hold you, to be behind you, to be in front of you, to pull you, to be there where the Lord will surround you with his arms, that he will take you into this marvelous opportunity to learn the beauty of the creative world. And I pray for you that the Lord will bless you with great wisdom, with faith, and with service to this now becoming your alma mater. Go in peace.
Let's feast.
Somebody once told